Okay, Michael, thank you. So at the beginning of meditation, just feel your life. Notice the thoughts and feelings, sounds. What you are today, what it is to be you. And tonight, the story for your meditation, you can try this. Once upon a time, there was a person called Zhuangzi. Who fell asleep and dreamed he was a butterfly, happily flitting and wandering about the flowers in the fields. And then he awoke, and there he was, solidly and unmistakably Zhuangzi. Yet he wondered, am I a man who dreamed he was a butterfly? Or am I a butterfly dreaming he is Zhuangzi? So just let this story accompany you in your meditation and see what happens as you do. Once upon a time, Chuang-Tzu dreamed he was a butterfly, flitting happily about with no thought of Chuang-Tzu. Then he woke, and there he was, solidly and unmistakably Chuang-Tzu. Yet he wondered, am I Chuang-Tzu who dreamed he was a butterfly, or am I a butterfly dreaming that he is Chuang-Tzu? A butterfly, the person, a butterfly dreaming, it's a person, the person dreaming. She's a butterfly and wondering which it is. The person dreaming, they're meditating. Butterfly, human being. You dream you are a butterfly, and when you wake, you wonder, is it me who dreamed I'm a butterfly, or am I a butterfly who dreamed I'm a human being and is dreaming now? Thank you, butterflies, people. So we'll have a short break and tea and then a talk. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome. This is, you know, when Buddhism moved from India to China, it met like stories like this, which is very un-Indian in a way. When the Chinese like managed to believe completely contradictory things at once, you know, and so that spirit went into Zen. And I'm interested in, you know, what are the aspects of, or is there a way to talk about the aspects of what happens when you have a deep practice, you know? And one of the things, I think, you notice that there's a kind of dreamlike quality to things you thought were really important before. You don't take yourself quite so seriously, you know. And, oh, maybe it was just the butterfly thought that. Or, you know? And so I think that's, it's a way to talk about seeing through the appearances of things, which is part of a good meditation practice. And I think the foundation of that really is the idea of practice itself is something to do. The idea is that the path, the Dharma, the teachings are not really so much something to study as you practice them. And practice is a matter, it's like a ritual almost, it's like a repetition that gradually transforms you and transforms who you are, transforms the kind of moves you make, how you listen to the world, and how you respond, and what kind of conversation you have with the world you're in. And I think with practice, you know, you become more unafraid, but also, and as I said, also not taking things so literally and so hard. And this dream about being a butterfly flitting and fluttering and completely with no thought of being Zhuangzi, you know. So that's the dream. The dream is Zhuangzi dreamed he was a butterfly, flitting about, wandering happily over the fields with no thought of being Zhuangzi. Then he woke up, and there he was, solidly and unmistakably Zhuangzi. Here I am, I'm me. But then he wondered, am I Zhuangzi who just dreamed he was a butterfly, or am I a butterfly dreaming he is Zhuangzi? So that's the story. And I suppose the thing in Zen is that as you practice, you know, it does start to change the moves you make, so that you won't, I guess you won't think, you don't have to think that things are hard, you know? And if they are hard, you might be open to the thought, I'm dreaming that they're hard, you know? The butterfly thinks they're hard. Actually, the butterfly doesn't think they're hard. I think they're hard, you know. And so you get a little bit of light and transparency in your life. And it doesn't have to fit your fantasy about you always be super calm or something. I've never met anybody who's always super calm, and you know. I've met a lot of the people who are supposed to be always super calm. So it's not about this, not about being stiff like that. It's about flowing, like the butterfly, flowing with things, the image of flowing with life and responding to life happily, you know, to what happens. And also, I remember that in various cultures, the butterfly is an image of rebirth, of life after life, you know, because it's, you know, strange thing happens in about, you know, you probably, most of you know, most people who've had kids at some stage raise butterflies for their entertainment, or actually for our entertainment, but felt educational. And you know, a butterfly, you know, it's a caterpillar, and then it's a chrysalis, and then it comes out of that. But the chrysalis doesn't, it's not like in the chrysalis you stick wings on a grub. Everything dissolves, it becomes this kind of soup. And then turns into a butterfly. So it's just like, it's this miraculous dissolution and transformation. And you know, that it's a kind of nice thing to think, whatever is going on in your life, these transformations are possible. You know, the butterfly is possible. And it doesn't really matter whether you think it's possible or not. That's just, the butterfly has no thought of Chuang Tzu, you know. But when you wake up, you know who you are. And I suppose the idea of practice that relates to this dreamy quality in life, noticing the dreamy quality comes from having a practice. And the idea of practice is sort of really important because you'll be able to walk through whatever you're given in your life. You know, if you get difficult times, you'll be able to walk through them. You know, illnesses happen, losses happen. You know, we're all noticing how, you know, everybody's paranoid about fire. You know, fire inspection people around, I asked them to come around my house and tell me everything horrifying about my fire situation. My house already burned once, and they're quite happy to do that. They were thrilled to do that, in fact. That's great. And so there's all this stuff about, you know, climate. You know, there's no doubt climate is changing. And somebody said this great thing. We have exited the climate in which we evolved. It's like our parents died, and nobody can guide us now, you know. And so we know that there'll be difficulties. And we know that we don't want to just curl up in a ball and be useless to people when difficulties come. And so having a practice is a good beginning. If you have a practice, you realize, oh, I don't need not to be here because I am here. Wherever we are, we're here. And that freedom of feeling like, oh, I'm in this dream now. I'm in a dream where the earth is getting hotter, things like that. And the whales are in trouble, and all sorts of things are going on. And the fog isn't coming in quite as densely, and things like that. So we're in that dream, and we can just spend our time being angry or anything. We can spend our time, we can be an activist if we want, which is kind of functional and practical. Spending our time being angry is not, you know, I mean, it doesn't stop us doing it, but it's not, but it's not helpful. And there's no joy in it. So the thing to do would be to have if you have a practice, if you have a practice is like this temple is a place where you come and practice having a practice. You know? So it's good to come to the Zendo. You know, it's a good thing. I say this over and over again, but in spite of that, it's true. So it's good to come to come to a Zendo, and it's good to meditate. It's good to meditate every day, and so get that the thing that the practice is just in you, and it's something that is just there if you need it. You know, because and it's not if you need it; it's just there, and so you naturally respond differently to people. And so if somebody's having a hard time, instead of running the other way, you might walk with them a bit and accompany them, you know. If you're having a hard time, instead of running the other way, you might be able to turn into it and find out, oh, it's a dream, I'm free, like that. So the notion of practice is a beautiful one, and this story about the butterfly and the dreamlike quality of life tells us that, oh, it doesn't have to be a hard notion. Practice can be kind of rather fun, like a butterfly, you know, where no matter what happens, you know, you can go with it. I have this funny thing that I don't know why, where I wake up early in the night. You know, I go to bed, and I like to sleep. I enjoy sleeping. I like dreaming, and then I wake up about 2 o'clock, and the first few times that it happened, I lay awake thinking I should be asleep. You know, I wonder if I can get back to sleep. And then after that, You can imagine how well that worked. And after that, I realized, oh, it must be time to get up and meditate. So I have a cushion out on the deck, and I listen to the night noises and the birds. There are always birds moving about in night and summer, and just rustlings, and every now and again some strange thing like a deep cough. It's sort of from some impressive animal. And so I have this marvelous time instead of having insomnia, and then at a certain stage I know it's time somehow to end the meditation. I go back to sleep, but the sleep is then a meditation. It's a dreamy, holding. It's there, and it's like there's a light starts to come up from underneath, from the ground. It's in your heart and your mind. And retreats are like that, sessions like that for me. There's a sort of illumination in things that's also in our own hearts. And I notice if I don't worry about silly things, then and so I guess I'm just saying that anything can turn into a practice. I have this practice, and I can say, yes, I'm a really serious student. I wake up at 2 every day and meditate. Not actually. I just happen to be awake at 2, and meditation's a great fun thing to do then. And you can only do that. You can only have a practice if you don't think whatever's happening should not be happening. But if it's okay that whatever's happening is happening, we can have a practice. Yeah. And then we're patient with people, because they're really weird. They're just as bad as us. And so we can, and there's that sort of generosity. Well, that person's dreaming a kind of dream that I've had, And so they're dreaming they're a butterfly, or they're dreaming they're whatever it is, a little monster or something. And I've certainly dreamed all those dreams, So there's a kind of sweetness and a tolerance from the dream image. And so maybe I'll stop there. And so that's one of the features, I think, of a deep meditation practice, is seeing, like in a way, seeing through the kind of thoughts we have. It's not like they're not ours. Sometimes they don't seem like much to do with us. They're just off the shelf. Anybody in our culture might have these thoughts, and that's not so interesting to me. But it's just that I don't have to take them so seriously, And then I can work out, some of those problems will work themselves out, some of them I'll work out, and some of them, they'll just always be there, and that's fine, That I thought I needed somewhere to stand, but I don't. I'm standing on a dream, in a dream, yeah. So let me stop there and how was it for you being with the old Chinese sage and the butterfly? What'd you notice?
I was remembering it a few days ago. I was having a little trouble going to sleep, and so I was laying there, kind of wishing I was asleep, but I wasn't, and that went on for what seemed like a really long time, and then I suddenly realized that for the last bit of a long time, the scenery in the room had been different. Therefore, I had been asleep. Sure didn't feel like it was like, how do you know?
Well, yeah, am I a butterfly? Where am I? Yeah.
It all felt so real.
Well, you don't have to know is the thing, yeah. And to just trust it's really trusting your relationship to life. You're here, trusting, and to the deep currents of life, including the things we don't understand, because it's like an iceberg. Most of it's invisible to us. And that's all right. It's still carrying us along,
I got lost into, I'm the butterfly, I'm the person, and then I was thinking of the metamorphosis of the butterfly, and then the development of human life in the womb. And then I just went right out to to the nebula, the birth of a star, and how we're all one.
I dreamed I was a star, and then when I wake up, I was married. And, yeah. This is a dreamy kind of story like that, and it carries us places, you know, out in the galaxy. And everybody does have this vast reality, vast experiences and stories and thoughts and feelings. And it's unique. Everyone's galaxy is unique inside, you know. It was kind of nice, really, you know, humbling, because the person I'll get you, yeah, the person I'm thinking, wow, they're clueless. They've just got a different galaxy inside. Yeah.
I kept going back and forth between being the human and being the butterfly, and what a different sensation it was to be the human and walk, and then the sensation of being a butterfly and flying and floating and landing, you know, on leaves, and it was really interesting to keep going back and forth, where I was grounded on one place and then flying on another. It was really nice.
Yeah, that's the spirit of the dream, isn't it? This sort of flitting happily, you know, and flitting between and different states. And we do flit between different states. You know, the mind of 2 a.m. is really different from the mind of like 7 a.m., you know. And that's really different from the mind of noon, and then twilight is different. And
I love what you said about, like, it's like you stopped resisting that you should be sleeping, and then you go out on your deck, and then you just meditate, and then you just float back into bed when you're ready. And it's such a beautiful image of being out. I mean, you're lucky you have a deck, but to be out there and almost to be in that dream state is really beautiful.
yeah, it can be anywhere. I can be like it's the same at session. I'm in a room somewhere in a temple or whatever, or if I'm in a hotel traveling. Seems pretty reliable, you know. So I just have a different kind of meditation. So it's like, yeah. But it's just more of an example of, like, I suppose, riding the horse the way it's going, you know. But it's sort of, well, it's kind of nice. I'd never be disciplined enough to get up at 2 in the morning and meditate, you know, because it's just not my character, you know. I like sleeping and all that. But it gets me up, and it has been for, I don't know, a long time, years now, yeah. So. It's great. So what else? Who else noticed things? Yeah, Michael.
Well, I noticed that my meditation was somehow different than usual, in that when I would, so to speak, flit, my mind was kind of floating and dancing around, but would, you know, I'd be distracted in a sense. But it didn't have the same negative, I didn't have the same negative relationship to it.
When it's flitting around, it's fine, you mean?
Yeah, it was more playful. So
I'm not distracted, I'm a butterfly, I'm supposed to do it.
and so they both felt better. When I came back to actually doing it and being very, you know, physically present. And then somehow they both changed a little bit.
That's really lovely, actually, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think one of the big things meditation does is to oppose ourselves less, to find fault with ourselves less. That we're always having something appear and thinking, that can't be it. My mind is producing the wrong feelings or thoughts, but what if that's not true, you know, and it's producing the thoughts and feelings it's producing, and in a way they're just given to us. You know, I didn't send out, you know, like itemized list of the thoughts and feelings I'm going to have today. They just appear. So, yeah. So there's something about blessing blessing our lives and welcoming our lives. It's really a profound part of meditation tradition. And you sort of let it sort itself out in a way. It's like permaculture. The garden works it out, kind of thing, you know. And you don't have to fuss with it quite so much. You know.
Yeah, it didn't feel like I was so responsible.
Yeah, so you can't do it wrong, you know. You don't have to be guilty about it. Yeah. Well, we make everything into a performance task, of course, you know, but it's really something deeper than that, you know. It's something like all creative, like this is how, you know, koan meditation is creative work, really, because all creative work, you have to, in a way, surrender to what the condition of the now is, and then out of that will come something, you know. So, and that's, but having a practice is having some sort of both welcoming attitude and not fighting with yourself over it, but also coming back to the practice, you know. So. Not to get rid of the thoughts or feelings or something, but just because the practice is the vessel, it's the context we have. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm definitely a more beginner meditator, but I come from more of a mindfulness meditation practice. And so I kind of blended that with the butterfly, where my in-breath, I grew wings like a butterfly, and then at the out-breath I became more solidly human. So it was this sort of like breathing in and out as a butterfly back to a human. And it was a very, very cool experience.
Yeah, meditation naturally sort of teaches us how to be creative, right? And we just sort of, if we're not in the way, we naturally make these interesting moves like that, and that's great. Yeah. Just in one breath and then another breath. And yeah. In one breath you're a butterfly, and the other, what's your name?
My name's Rachel.
Yeah, the other breath, Rachel, and now I'm a butterfly, and the out breath I'm a butterfly. Yeah. It's kind of great. Yeah, thank you, Rachel. Yeah. It's kind of cool. Also, you can feel like, oh, you wouldn't tell people that's how you meditate. Do this on your out breath and that on your in breath, because you can tell it's starting to get authoritarian and cramp the sort of imagination. But if it just happens, it's your gift, and it's for you, and it's part of what it's like to be you, and what happens in the interaction with the koan conversation with you. Whereas this other thing happens with Michael next to you, that's, you know, amiable openness sort of thing, and so it's kind of cool. Thank you.
This koan reminds me a lot of like dreams I've been having lately. I seem to be dreaming more or remembering my dreams more lately, and I'll wake up sometimes in a dream. Who knows how long it lasts? It was so vivid or so real. I don't know whether the information or the experience that happened in the dream was real or not. And when I have to sort of bring myself to consciousness and re-solidify me, and I realize that was a dream, but it's very lucid, there's a quality about the dream that's so malleable and so sort of amorphic, I mean, so sort of soft edges. I realize there's something about that feels more real than the solidity of reality. And it's kind of strange because we think of what's solid and dense is real, but there's some quality about that, this koan reminds me of that. There's something about that dreamlike quality, even of that not knowing which one's which. Because clearly that life is a mystery, we don't really understand it, and there's something about that feels like it should be more malleable, So it's weird how the dream has a quality that I have been experiencing lately in the last year that feels very deep.
That's beautiful.
Deep
Yeah.
experience of what really is.
Yeah. That's nice. I remind you, there's a koan about how does the Bodhisattva of great mercy, how does the goddess of great mercy use all those hands and eyes, 1,000 hands and eyes? It's like reaching behind her for a pillow in the night. I think that sounds like that's what you're dreaming that. You're feeling that.
And the other thing I was going to say is about the practice itself. It's kind of funny how we try to find these words that apply to what we're doing, and none of them really fix. Like, you practice to be a doctor, you practice to be an athlete, what we're practicing to be a human. But what I really noticed is that what has happened for me, having been doing this for a while, is that my reflexes have changed, my reaction to things. And so, whereas in the past, my immediate reaction would have been to resist reality being the way it is, or saying, you know, railing against, well, this shouldn't be so, just dealing with it. And then you just go into the solution. So like I was on vacation the last 2 weeks, and you know, sort of on a work vacation, because my partner was going to a 4-day art retreat, so I was gonna work while she was there, and we made some reservations at a place that was just totally unacceptable for me. And it's a campground, and I needed Wi-Fi to work, and so the basic thing that I needed didn't exist there. It was, you know. So, but so my partner kept telling me I was upset. Well, I wasn't upset. I was just completely aware that this wouldn't work, you know, and was moved right into the solution. And it's kind of funny because, you know, and I feel like that's my practice. It was just, I wasn't, you know, it wasn't anything to be upset about. It just was what it was, and this isn't what I wanted. So I feel like my reflexes has changed. So you just work into the solution, and then all that story goes away, and all the blaming, or all the upset, or all the criticism. And I find that over and over again is just how it seems like, and that's basically what you do when you practice to be anything, is you're really looking to have your reflexes and your reactions, you know, honed so that they are more effective. And so, kind of a, you know, it's my experience.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's worked for me, because otherwise.
Yeah, you're probably much less annoying, you know.
I'm much less to myself.
People tell me that about me too.
No, it's true. It's just easier to be with me, and it's.
Well, it's a dance thing. You're more likely to dance with what's happening. Yeah.
I have that same 2 o'clock awakening here, but so I went to the East Coast to be with my elderly parents, and where I stay in my brother's place that's right on the beach. And so 2 o'clock here is 5 o'clock there, right? So I would wake up at 5 o'clock, being true to myself, and it was such a wonderful time to just go sit out in his back, and the birds were just coming up, and the water, and the light, and everything like that. So it was a gift to spend, you know, 5 o'clock till, you know, 7, till things started really happening. So I had 2 hours of that just magical time. And it was the first time that when I traveled like that, that I really could do the meditation, and the visit was just magical. And I got stuff done that I needed to do, but enjoy being with people.
Good. Wake up at 5, the lady says. Yes.
It was better than 2.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me.
Yeah. It's just different. That's
No,
true. It was just different.
no, but I mean, the theme is, work with what we've got. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think we might have done it. Thank you. And as I said, it's kind of a good thing to come, and you know, then your practice will repay you when times aren't so easy, you know. And so it'll be there for you. So keep coming, keep practicing. And now we've got events. Next Sunday morning is happening, and Monday is happening. Did you want to make announcements of the events, Michael?
Well, Sunday and Monday.
Very good.
Thank you for that.
Thank you for that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, everybody knows the program Sunday morning and then Monday evening. Rachel will be here Sunday and Monday. And then the retreat, Bolinas, is that?
Yeah, there's still a few places in that. We have this little beautiful place out in Bolinas. Maybe a couple of places left if you're interested, where we do a Thursday night through Sunday retreat on the cliffs out there. So you look on the website for that.
15th, next Thursday.
Yeah.
Is that
And-
the place with the really good food?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, it's good.
I recommend it.
Legendary chefs, yeah. Yeah, they're
Oh, that too.
cooking is their practice. You can just tell they're like in it. You know, it's beautiful. And then our October retreat is up online now too. So that's happening. So, and then we do, you know, your donations really help us. They help us keep the doors open. We like that. We're deliriously grateful when you give us money, so thank you. There's a box on the way out. And you can also, if you're not signed up, there's an email list. You put your email on, you'll get an email a week from us telling what's happening. And let's do the vows. Do you want to do the bells, or do you want me to do that?
Let you sing it though.
Okay. The four boundless vows. I vow to wake all the beings of the world. I vow to set endless heartache to rest. I vow to walk through every wisdom gate. I vow to live the great Buddha way. I vow to wake all the beings of the world. I vow to set endless heartache to rest. I vow to walk through every wisdom gate. I vow to live the great Buddha way. I vow to wake all the beings of the world. I vow to set endless heartache to rest. I vow to walk through every wisdom gate. I vow to live the great Buddha way. Thank you, Bodhisattvas and Butterfly. Nice to see you. So we'll be happening again Sunday and Monday. So, yeah.